Hi, I'm Sam.
And I'm Miguel, and this is the Didn't Anyone Mention podcast. What do you got for me today?
I guess, yeah.
Well, yeah, welcome. Okay.
Super energetic.
It's weird not hearing your intro.
What do you mean the intro?
Our little intro. It's weird not hearing it. But anyways.
I've been thinking about redoing our intro.
Yeah, well, we can do it however many times we want.
Well, this is true. It is kind of our little thing. Anyways.
Well, I have something specific. Thank you. For you today, but figured I'd just give you some cool things, some fun facts. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about? Did you peek?
I did not peek. I never do. As a child of Christ.
Of a child of Christ?
Yeah.
Well, I don't believe you all the time. So what we're going to dive into is cryptids. Do you know what those are?
Cryptids. From my understanding, they're like scary stories or
they're
real stories.
So there's actually... you're kind of close. So they are creatures who exist or like in existence have yet to be discovered.
So like Sasquatch?
Yes, like Sasquatch. Yeah. But Bigfoot. Sasquatch. What was the Loch Ness Monster of McCall? Shelley? No.
Yeah, Shelley.
Shelley? Okay.
Was it Shelley?
Shelby? No. Why am I second guessing?
Shelley sounds right.
Okay. Well, if I'm wrong, you guys fact check me. Anyways, so those kind of things.
Sherry.
That's what it was, Sherry. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm still not sure.
But creatures are who their existence hasn't quite yet been proven, but like it's so talked about. Like
so
people
are aliens a cryptid almost?
Technically, yes. But I mean, during COVID, they showed a freaking. No, I'm joking. I'm pretty sure we know that there's aliens. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they told them UFOs exist, but it's not necessarily aliens. They're just things that are flying that they don't know about.
I guess you're not wrong.
Unquote.
Quote unquote. Okay. Well, does that make sense though?
Yeah.
So I guess there's actually, like, botanists and like archaeologists.
Thank
you. I guess they even have their own classification of cryptozoologists. So instead of just a zoologist, they're cryptozoologists. But I figured I would start this off with things that used to be cryptids, okay?
Things that used to be cryptids.
Well, yeah, okay. Because technically they were just not discovered yet. So, do you have any ideas out of like some funky animals or critters that you're like, oh, I wonder if those were like people didn't believe in them until they like found them?
Man, I'm gonna go with a fucking platypus.
That is one of them.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a weird fucking creature.
Yeah. So,
no way.
I hope everybody knows.
I got that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, Perry the platypus.
Yeah.
A platypus?
Yeah.
Perry the platypus. I hope everybody knows what I'm talking about.
You should have lost me on that one, but I'll go with
Phineas and Ferb?
I've seen Phineas and Ferb. What American hasn't?
Okay, well, Perry?
I know who Perry the platypus is.
And Doofenshmirtz would always say, like, oh, it's a platypus. And then he'd throw his hat on, and then he'd go, Perry the platypus?
Nope, you lost me.
Oh my gosh. Reported. Anyways, it's a duck, an otter, and a beaver, pretty much all put together. So most of Europeans in the 18th century didn't believe that such a creature could exist. The second governor of
Can you blame them?
I know. So the second governor of South Wales, Captain John Hunter, sent a pelt and sketch of a platypus to a scientist of the European community in 1798, and then they were discovered.
20 years after the U.S. became a United States.
So the U.S. was the states, and we didn't even know platypuses exist.
That is crazy.
Yeah. I got even. There's one.
That's so funny though. I
Yeah.
gotta say.
Do you have any other guesses? Because there's a good amount on here.
There's a good amount. So platypus. Okay, we're on the same wavelength as a platypus.
Yeah.
Man, my only other guess I would say a fucking toucan.
That is a good one, but it's not one. So, the Komodo dragon.
Oh, damn! I should have guessed that.
So not until 1910.
Really?
Yeah. Stories of a giant lizard on the island of Komodo, obviously, Komodo, in Indonesia were laughed at by any respectable scientist. However, a lieutenant, Hans Broek, we'll say that, caught and killed one. And then, another explorer, Douglas Burden, wasn't happy with the dead specimen, so he went to the island and he captured, literally 2 of them and brought them back to New York City. And then they were just on show for people.
These giant lizards, they are pretty big.
They are creepy, yeah.
They're pretty cool. You want to know a weird
Don't
fact
they
about them?
spit toxins?
No, they don't spit anything, but their
No.
venom.
But their saliva,
Their
right?
saliva has
Yeah.
venom, but it's super slow acting. So they'll attack water buffalo when they're watering, and they'll just bite them on the leg, and they won't do anything, and they'll just follow them around for a little bit. And it takes, if I remember, it takes like a week for the water buffalo to die from their venom, and then they just start eating them.
Ew. Okay, well, Komodo dragons, platypus, platypi.
Platypussies.
Here's a good one that will blow your freaking mind. A kangaroo.
I believe that.
So a kangaroo, hard to believe that they were. I don't know about that. But they were, a description was made in 1499 when he was traveling along the coast of Australia. He described it as a monstrous beast with the head of a fox and the hands of a man and tail of a monkey in a bag that it used to carry its young.
Yeah.
It's a pretty accurate description, I would say.
Yeah. Have you seen them? Their upper bodies are like...
They're jacked.
They're jacked.
Have you seen kangaroo jack? I know what they look like, bro.
That's exactly what they look like.
That's what I'm saying. But in 1629, Francesco Pelestart, I totally messed that up, captured a kangaroo. It died on its voyage, so that wasn't great. But then,
That wasn't great.
and Sir Joseph Banks rediscovered the kangaroo on Captain Cook's voyage in 1770, and the kangaroo changed at that point into an actual species.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
You know what's crazy is that we would see a kangaroo and be like, "Oh my god, it's a kangaroo!" But in Australia, they're such a nuisance.
I've heard
And a
that. Yeah,
pest.
they're like, and they can get aggressive.
Oh yeah, they're like 6 feet tall, 7 feet tall.
Oh, they're taller than a man. Yeah.
You know their punching force. So
I've heard they can kill you.
yeah, their force is enough to break bones.
Yeah.
So they're, just to put in perspective, like the average man can punch with like 120 pounds of force.
Mm-hmm.
I think a kangaroo can punch 350 pounds of force.
Where do you have all this random knowledge of kangaroos?
I don't know. And their kick can shatter bones.
Yeah. Well, they just go.
I don't know where I store all this useless fucking knowledge.
Well, let me.
But put in perspective,
You just
Mike
added.
Tyson can punch as hard as a kangaroo.
Jeez. Well, I got another common one that you'd be like, what? A gorilla. Most European explorers thought gorillas were monster-like. I mean, those things can be pretty big.
What kind of gorilla?
It just said gorilla, so I'm guessing the...
Well, imagine you're in the fucking forest and you see this first time ever.
Yeah, like the... What are they called? The,
Which ones?
the black ones. The ones that have silverbacks.
Silverback.
That's what they're called. Because they have the shoulder... I was like, their shoulders.
They're huge.
Yeah, they're massive. But
Orangutans, dude, so strong.
so not an orangutan, obviously. So
Yeah.
then it would be a gorilla. It would be more likely the silverback.
Those are
That's
even
what it showed.
sketchier as orangutans.
Those- Dude,
Ugh. That face.
Dude, it's gross. It's so gross. But obviously, like, it was around the 5th century BC when a Greek explorer, they were describing, like, chimpanzee or baboons, ew, but that's when they found it. It was pretty much, like, people just didn't realize, like, it was, like, one person would travel, they would see this and be like, dude, this is crazy. And then when, like, traveling across, like, the continents were
I feel like
bigger.
there was always people there, but what changed it was probably media and
Well,
like
think
any
about
kind
this.
of like news,
Well,
media,
think of,
communication between different civilizations.
think about this. This is a lot of these are in the 1700s, right? So it's not like news or media. It would just be finally enough people had enough opportunities to travel.
It's probably both.
It was like, I bet, like, news, but, like, think
Maybe
about how
not
slow
news,
moving.
but like the town paper or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, and I don't even know when the first picture was able to be done. But anyways,
I know print press was done in like the 1600s,
that's what it made. Yeah, that would
which
make sense.
revolutionized. No, that is so wrong. It wasn't even. It was like the 1800s. It revolutionized news because you could print out hundreds.
Don't lie about it next time. Okay. There's another one that is pretty like, I saw it and I was like, oh, I think I know what that is, but it's an okapi.
No idea
It's
what
like,
the hell that is.
It's a zebra, a donkey, a deer, and an antelope all as one.
This is the weirdest orgy I've ever heard
The
of.
closest genetic link is to giraffes, actually.
What?
Yeah, the Europeans in the 18th and 19th century called it, quote unquote, an African unicorn. Because it was just in Africa that it was.
Okapi?
Okapi, yeah. 1901 is when it finally was classified as a species.
That is wild.
Um,
Some of these, I feel like, are super late.
Yeah, like later than you would expect, yeah. This one's a bone deseu. It kind of looks like a groundhog-ish, koala-ish kind of, like, little creature.
A bone de zoo?
A bondezoo. Bondezoo.
Bondegazoo.
Zegazoo. I'm missing the G. Sorry. But it was, like, people, like, in Papua New Guinea it was like an ancestral spirit.
Uh-huh.
So people didn't realize, but it's actually an endangered species, actually, sadly. But yeah, it wasn't until the 1980s that an Australian scientist took the first picture of one where they could actually classify it as an actual species. But it's black and white, and it just walks around on, like, 2 legs. It's kind of like a little bear. But it's like, this one's kind of random.
Sounds pretty cool.
And then, let's see. I think my last one I have on here is the most recent one, coming out for
What year?
2004.
That's pretty late.
Yeah, the giant squid. So,
Oh, I definitely 100% believe that.
well, yeah, especially with being in the ocean, right? So this is one that some people say that it's still, like, could technically be a cryptid, because it could be even bigger ones, or, like, this one's, like, kind of on the edge of people, like, saying, like, oh, yeah, it's proven in some, yeah, or, like, I mean, you might have found the baby. But, so, if you remember, if any of y'all were watching the news then, I was not old enough to care about the news. So, many people consider that it's still a cryptid. But they live, a lot of cryptids, like, why they're usually classified as that is because they also, like, live in these territories or these areas that are hard for people to, like
deep
explore.
in the ocean.
Yeah, and, like, Bigfoot, people are like, well, the mountains are, like, endless, like, and forever, like, changing. I mean, like, look at wildfires, look at, like, the seasons, all that stuff. And it's harsh living conditions. And there's so much forest and woods out in the world. I just, like,
I love it.
It's so beautiful, but it's, like, kind of crazy how much there is. Well, obviously, in the deep ocean, that is why. But the first image was in 2004 with researchers in Japan. And then 2006, Japan's National Science Museum caught a live 24-foot female giant squid.
That's pretty big.
That's a pretty chunkin' squid.
24 feet?
Mm-hmm.
That is longer than our driveway.
Yeah. So every few months, there's another report or news report of a dead giant squid washing ashore. Even though a lot of people consider this to be a hoax, there is scientific evidence saying that that's not a hoax. So they're actually like scientifically proven to be squids.
So every year there's a new squid that pops up?
Well, they just say like a lot, like it says on average, so maybe every once in a while, but technically they pop up more and more. So you wonder why?
Probably because we're commercial fishing the oceans,
Taking
getting
all
regular
their
food.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So they're trying to get higher up.
Maybe starving.
Yeah. Well, are you ready?
I don't know. Giant squid one terrifies me. That's why I won't go deep into the. I never actually want to go swimming in the ocean. Never.
No, I like
could
it.
live
I
my
can do
whole
it like
life and never do it.
knees, like where I can have solid ground. One time, I think the farthest I'd been out was Florida, because it's actually warm, not like cold like on the West Coast. But I was like to my chest, and like when the waves came up, my feet didn't touch the ground, and then I went back down. But plenty seaweed and stuff brushed against my leg, and that puts a little stress on my soul. So I can't say that it would be something I would do regularly. I mean, I went to Florida once in the last like 10 years, so
I can tell you with 100% honesty, I can live my whole life and never swim in the ocean.
That's
I would
fine.
be so content.
I feel like that's a lot of people though. Like, I would be content never swimming in the ocean again. I would love to walk on it and hear it and be there.
I'd be okay with
And I'll put like my little
fishing off into the, like on charter boats.
See, I would even have a hard time just going out in the middle of the ocean on a boat.
See, I wouldn't. I'd be down for that.
Because I'm like, what if you just lost navigation and couldn't get back?
Follow the sun.
But like a lake or a river, like I know,
That is true.
like I'm safe.
I mean, don't follow the sun, but use the sun as your guide. The sun was over there 4 hours ago.
But yeah, I don't know if you guys have anything to lay our mind at ease. But anyways,
No way. If you grew up by the ocean, you're one of the lucky few.
You're one of the lucky few.
See if you make it past the next time. Because seriously, that is fucking terrifying. I don't know what's so scary about it.
I think just how big it is.
Even in lakes, I don't like it.
I don't like lakes. I remember when a fish like smacked my leg. It was like flip. Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah. Ever since then, I'm like, yeah I'm good.
Yeah, dude. Seriously. So, but go ahead.
Yeah.
What you got?
Well, I feel like you've heard of them.
No.
Him.
Them. Him.
Him. The Mothman.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about the Mothman?
Besides the movies.
Yes, that was based off of him.
I
I haven't even seen the movie.
Mothra?
Maybe that's this picture. Yeah, but I'm talking about like, do you know where it came from or what happened?
No. I don't know. I thought it was just like a superhero or supervillain.
No, it's like from an encounter. Mm-hmm. In Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
Okay, it's on the other side of the country.
Yeah, so you're good. So, what happened was, we're taking it back to 1966.
Ooh.
November to be exact, November 15th.
I think we were going fresh and out of the Vietnamese War. Or...
Okay, you're telling me. So, he emerged. So what had happened was there was a couple on a couple's date. What am I saying? They were double dating. That's what I'm trying to say. They were on a double date. Roger and Linda. These were married people, by the way. Roger and Linda and then Steve and Mary. They were driving on State Route 62. These are all included because some people like kind of write it off because this. Well, it was right next to the abandoned National Guard of Armory building and a power plant.
National Guard of Armory.
Yeah, and a power plant. When they saw this figure, All four of them say they saw it. This figure standing 6 to 7 feet tall in the headlights of their car. Because they're just driving, right? And they see this ginormous thing just staring back at them. And with, like, giant, like, just big old red eyes. Just watching them. Bright red. So, Roger was the driver. And he just started speeding, like, away. He just just whipped around, went straight back towards town.
Finally, some common sense.
But it followed.
Of course it did.
They said that he was, they said that it, like, the thing rose up like a helicopter, like it just hovered up. Like it wasn't like a bird where it, like, has to take off. It just went whoop, straight up. And, like, they saw it, like, kind of run, but it looked clumsy while doing that. So then that's when it, like, went just straight up. They saw it at the power plant, and it started just, like, speeding up faster and faster.
As it was flying?
Yeah. They said that their car reached 100 miles per hour.
What year was this?
66.
Okay. Sure it wasn't kilometers per hour?
It says 100 miles per hour. Because, I mean, it was in Virginia, West Virginia.
Good point.
I know, I was, like, kind of, like, wondered if you thought that was manageable.
Probably was.
Probably was. Okay. Where's that? Oh, so then it was, like, caught up to them, though. So it was, like, catching up, and it was there, and then they reached town, and it was gone. But they told the Point Place Registry, where a couple sees a man-sized bird, creature, something. That's the title, and that's, like, something you can find pretty much everywhere. Like, the clips of it, like, they wrote an article about it. And the town went freaking crazy. They went out with, like, instead of, like, pitchforks and like torches, you know, like in the olden days. They were just running around with rifles, just waiting to, like, shoot this thing down. Like, it was America. It was very America.
The town has never been safer, huh?
Yeah, it was a small town, so, like, this, like, there was a mob. There was a very angry mob just, like, running around. People would say, like, oh, I saw it, I didn't, I saw it, you know.
It was over there.
Yeah, it was lurking outside of homes, chasing cars, and stealing pet dogs.
Oh, that's a classic.
Here's an example. So, the day before the Mothman, like, made an appearance. So this was before.
Okay.
There was a person named Newell Portridge House in Salem, West Virginia, which is, like, close. Tells that a German Shepherd, she says that a German Shepherd named Bandit bolted into the woods after 2 glowing red eyes and then just never came back out. The day before. So, I don't know what you want to take about that, but...
That gives it, I think, a touch more credibility. But
You
also,
think so?
what kind of relationship does that person have with the people that
I don't know, yeah.
are out the Mothman?
I don't
I'm not
know.
saying there has to be collaboration.
Because it pretty much, it went viral. Like, this was, like, the OG TikTok famous viral people.
Probably one of them.
Yeah, like, they, well, like, I mean, not OG, but, like, this was, like, old school, how to get famous real quick.
Yeah.
But it is now, like, that town's thing. Like, in the Mothman, and then, like, Chicago gets really big about it because of the movies. But it is, like, it's just their, like, a tourist attraction now. They have museums about it and all that stuff.
Has the people that initially made the report, have they talked any more about it?
No, I think they'll like, do interviews or something, like, for, like, a Mothman. Like, I think they do, around the time, they'll do, like, a little convention or, like, a little, like, Mothman, like, kind of party thing. But to flash it back a little bit again, the same, or a year afterwards, right? Because it was, I said 66, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So a year afterwards, almost to the month, December 15th, I said November 15th, December 15th, 1967, the Silver Bridge, It connected Point Pleasant with Kongwa, Cayuga.
Yeah.
Cayuga?
Canauga?
Canauga?
No idea.
Ohio. That, I mean, it was a major bridge. We could look at a picture of it. It collapsed.
They blame the Mothman.
They blame the Mothman because people say they saw something flying around on there. They would see encounters there. 46 people died, unfortunately.
Oh, dang.
Two people they couldn't even find. I mean, they fell into the... But it was like a heavy rush hour traffic. And, yeah, it fell. But it was an... I don't know if you know, but if anybody's curious, it was an I-bar chain. I don't really know what that means, but... It was a suspension bridge. It was built in 1928. It carried the U.S. Route 35 over the Ohio River, which is beefy. And it got its name because of the aluminum paint that was on it. Just like, all the other fun names that we have for bridges. But they did do an investigation, and it was proven that it was a point of failure of a single I-bar on the suspensions.
Yep.
Just one. It literally...
If I remember right, those things are under high tension all the time.
Yeah, so it says that never failed. A failed trigger by a flaw of just 0.1 inches deep, which led to a fracture. So it was like 0.1 inches, so 2.5 millimeters deep. Like of a fracture that made it just because that one little bar, it had that one baby teeny tiny little crack, and it literally made the whole thing collapse, which is crazy. But it took 3 years to even make that report, but they found it. But people say that it was the Mothman that did it.
I don't think people understand how much tension are on those cables for suspension bridges.
Mm-hmm.
There is tons.
Well, yeah, and then it's sad. It's so sad that and then going over a bridge.
I know, dude. I think those bridges are super cool because it's using the weight of itself to support itself. Does that make any sense?
Look at you with your knowledge. I love it.
My random useless
knowledge.
I
love it. What do you mean? But that's what I got for you. Mothman / I cannot believe these things were mythical until...
That is crazy. I definitely didn't think you were going to go with Mothman.
Yeah, which one did... Because we've done, Loch Ness Monster.
Well, I didn't think any of those. I thought it was going to be something funkier.
Funky? Well, I was
Mothman was definitely not on my radar.
I thought Mothman would have been some crazy lore, but no, it was so simple. It was just some freaking... married couple.
I've heard of Mothman, but I'm thinking of Mothra, I think, which shoots lasers out of its eyes. And I think it went against Godzilla.
Yeah, I think you're onto something, but I never watched those movies, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But
that's interesting.
Questions, comments, concerns, emotional outbursts.
What other cryptids did you find? I'm more interested with
There's
platypus and the gorilla.
I'm not going to go over those anymore.
What other ones did you find besides that?
The ones that were discovered?
Yeah.
Those ones, I just stopped at those because I was like, dang, that's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it kind of gives you a glimpse into the time back then.
Yeah.
I guess if we saw an animal we've never seen right now, we'd be like, what the hell is that?
Chupacabra's on there. We did that.
I was going to say Chupacabra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was
smack the table.
I know. I was going to say Chupacabra, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, but we already did that one, technically.
Mm-hmm.
And then we technically have done Loch Ness Monster because a lot of big bodies of water have a Loch Ness Monster. We did Sherry or Shelby or Shelly.
Cheryl, Sherry, or Shelly.
I don't know why I'm second guessing it.
One of those.
And then there was another one that I got too much info on that I think I'll just be able to do by itself. Oh. So that was really cool. And then that one more went into Native American history. And a lot of their beliefs, because they would have ancestors that guarded certain what am I saying? It was like copper, so like goods. Like it was like things that like, oh, like you pray to this ancestor and you get good crops, or you know, that kind of a thing. But that was like kind of an offset of a cryptid. Like it was like kind of like connected.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's interesting. We've done Chupacabra, we've done Vox Monitor, we did this one. What was the other one we did? We did another one, and I was like, oh, that's funny, we already did that. But now I'm blanking on what it was. But the spooky things that technically they're like, oh, well, they're out there. I bet you anything. I don't know if Black-Eyed Children would technically count as it.
It might.
Might.
Oh,
I think maybe the thing that we don't say was on there, maybe.
Dude, yeah, after that episode.
But I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it wasn't that. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. I can't think of the last one. Because I found a little picture and I was like, hey, we did that one, that one, that one. Like, but, yeah. But anyways, that's what I got.
Very cool.
Okay, well, that's it. Smell you later.
See you guys on the next one.